the story of Moses, peace be upon him. He was Moses bin Imran bin Kahat bin Azar bin Levi bin Jacob bin Isaac bin Abraham, peace be upon them. The Qur'an said, and mentioned in the book Moses, truly he was chosen and he was a messenger and a prophet. And we called him from the right side of Mount Tur, and we drew him near to us for a talk with him in secret, and we granted him from our mercy his brother Aaron, a prophet. The story of Moses is mentioned in many different passages in the Quran, sometimes in details and sometimes in short. Here we would mention in an account of his life in the light of the Quran and Sunnah, and what was mentioned by the early Muslims from the Israelite, Christian and Jewish sources. The Quran said, Ta Sin Mim. These are the verses of the manifest book, Quran. We relate to you the story of Moses and Pharaoh in truth for people who believe. Surely Pharaoh exalted himself in the land and divided its people into sections, one of which he oppressed, killing their sons and sparing their women. Indeed, for he was a corrupter. And we wish to be gracious to those who were oppressed in the land, and to make them leaders, and to make them inheritors, and to establish them in the land, and to show Pharaoh and Haman and their soldiers what they feared from them. Allah has mentioned here the gist of the story, which he later expanded it. He mentioned the details of this story to his Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in truth the way it happened. Surely Pharaoh exalted himself in the land and divided its people into sections, who rebelled in arrogance and was haughty. He preferred this world to the hereafter and disobeyed the Lord. He divided his people into sections. Some of them were made to live the life of subservience and humiliation, and they were the children of Israel. They were the best people of their time. Pharaoh exploited them and dealt with them unjustly, forcing them to take up only the lowest of profession. Not only that, he also killed their males and spared their women. The Quran said, killing their sons and sparing their women, indeed he was a corrupter. The reason behind this evil practice was the beliefs of Israelites that there will come a child from the progeny of Abraham who will destroy the kingdom of Pharaoh. It happened when Sarah, the wife of Abraham, passed through Egypt, and there the king of Egypt tried to misbehave with her, but Allah saved her and gave her this glad tiding that from your progeny there would come a boy who will destroy the kingdom. This glad tidings was very famous among Israelites. The Coptic people of Egypt talked about it till it reached to Pharaoh through some of his ministers. Pharaoh then commanded to slay all the male children of Israelites, fearing from this child. Sudi has narrated from Ibn Abbas and other companions, Pharaoh had a dream that a fire came from the direction of Jerusalem and burnt all the Coptic people and their houses, and did not harm Israelites. When he woke up, he was frightened of his dream. He gathered all priests and soothsayers and sorcerers and asked them the interpretation of his dream. They said, there will be born a boy from these people who will destroy the people of Egypt. So the Pharaoh ordered to kill all the newborn baby boys and leave the girls alive. That is why Allah said, and we wish to be gracious to those who were oppressed in the land, the Israelites, and to make them leaders and to make them inheritors. They will take up the charge of the affairs of Egypt and to establish them in the land, and to show Pharaoh and Haman and their soldiers what they feared from them. we will grant strength and control to those who were weak and suppressed. This divine promise has been fulfilled, as the Qur'an said, and we gave heritage to those who had been abased and kept low, the eastern parts and the western parts of the land which we blessed, and perfectly was fulfilled the most fair word of your Lord upon the children of Israel, because they endured patiently. And also Allah said, so we expelled them from the gardens and springs and treasures and fine dwellings. So it was that they were expelled, and we caused the children of Israel to inherit them. The birth of Moses. Pharaoh took every step to make sure that Moses could not be born. He even appointed men and midwives who could check routinely upon pregnant women and know the possible time of their delivery. No woman gave birth to a baby boy, but the people of Pharaoh slew him the very moment. The people of the book say, Pharaoh commanded the killing of boys only to demoralize Israelites and weaken their power, so never could they oppose Pharaoh or fight against him. However, this is not true. This may have happened after Moses was sent as a prophet, as the Qur'an said. So when he brought them the truth from us, they said, kill the sons of those who believe with him and spare their women. And that is why Israelites said to Moses, we have been hurt before you came to us and after you came to us. So the truth is that Pharaoh ordered the killing of the boys in the first place to make sure that Moses is not born. It was as though the divine decree was saying, O arrogant king, you are proud of your soldiers, power and huge kingdom. But the one who is more majestic than you, the one who is never dominated and who writes the fate of people, had decided that this boy would be born. You have killed numerous children before of the fear of that one boy. But he is born, and not only born, but he will be brought up now in your own palace and under your own eyes. He will eat in your palace. He will live in your palace, and he will sleep in your palace. He will become your adopted son. But you will never come to disclose this truth right until the last minute. Then the same boy will destroy you and your kingdom because you would reject the truth revealed to him. Know that Allah is the one who does whatever he wills. There is no one to oppose him. Many exegetes said the Coptic population complained to Pharaoh that Israelites are getting less and less in numbers because of the killings of their boys, so both the old and the young may perish soon. Consequently, they may lose the manpower of Israelites and be forced to carry out that work which they did. So Pharaoh found it an economically and socially sound solution, and hence decreed a new order that from now we will kill the children for 1 year and then spare to live those who are born during the following year. It is said that Aaron was born in the year of pardon when children were not killed, and Moses was born in the year when they were being killed. Moses' mother was very worried from the moment she was pregnant. However, the sign of the pregnancy did not show on her. When she gave birth to Moses, it was inspired to her that she should make a chest and tie it with a long rope, and the other end tied with a house. As her house was in the bank of Nile, she would feed him, and whenever she had any fear, she should place him in the chest and let the rope loose so it could hide in the reeds in the Nile. Allah said, and we inspired the mother of Moses, suckle the child, and when you fear for him, cast him into the river, and do not fear nor grieve. We shall return him to you, and we shall make him one of the messengers. Then the family of Pharaoh picked him up, that Moses should be to them an adversary and a cause of sorrow. Surely Pharaoh, Haman, and their soldiers were sinners. And Pharaoh's wife said, he will be a delight to my eye and yours. Do not kill him. He may be of use to us, or we may take him as a son. And they did not sense what was to come. The inspiration mentioned in the above verse is not the inspiration of prophethood, rather, it is the same kind that is mentioned in this verse regarding the bees. The Qur'an said, "And your Lord has inspired the bees. Take your dwellings in the hills, in the tree and in the trellises. Eat of all fruit and follow the ways of your Lord in humility." Suhaili said the name of Moses' mother was Jochebed. She was inspired in her heart that there was no cause for fear. Even if he disappeared, Allah will return him and bring him back to her, because he was going to send him as his prophet and messenger. He will be a person of honor in this world and in the hereafter. She used to do what she had been commanded. However, one day, when she let the chest go in the Nile, she forgot to tie it with her house. Now the chest went on till it passed by the Pharaoh's palace. So the family of Pharaoh picked him up, that Moses should be to them an adversary and a cause of sorrow. Surely Pharaoh, Haman and their soldiers were sinners. Moses enters Pharaoh's palace. Exegetes have mentioned the slave girls of Pharaoh picked him up from the Nile from his chest that was closed. They did not have courage to open it, so they brought it in front of the wife of Pharaoh, Asya bint Muzahim bin Obed bin Rayyan ibn Walid, who was the Pharaoh in the time of Joseph. It is also suggested that she was from Israelites, from Moses' clan, and in another narration it is said that she was his aunt, that is, now Suhaili has narrated. We will speak further about her when we come to the story of Maryam, Mary bint Imran, and they both will be from among the wives of the Prophet ﷺ in paradise. When Asya opened the chest, she found a boy whose face was bright and awesome. She loved him from the very moment she saw him. When Pharaoh came, he asked her what it is and commanded to slay him. But she asked Pharaoh to offer her the baby as a gift and said, "He will be a delight to my eye and yours." Pharaoh said, "A delight for you, yes, but a delight for me, no. He may be of use to us. Allah has indeed benefited her what she had hoped for. He guided her in this world, and in the hereafter she will be of those who enter paradise. Or we may take him as a son by adopting him as a son, because Pharaoh and his wife had no children, and they did not sense what was to come. They were completely unaware of what Allah has hidden from them, and this child was going to smash their kingdom into pieces." The people of the book say that one who got him from the Nile was Pharaoh's daughter, and there is no mention of his wife, which is totally wrong from the Quranic point of view. Bible, Exodus 2. Allah says, "And the heart of Moses' mother became void, and she almost disclosed his case, had we not strengthened her heart with faith. And she said to his sister, 'Follow him.' So she watched him from a distance while they were not aware, and we had ordained that he would refuse to be suckled by any foster mother. So she said, 'Shall I show you to a family who will look after him for you and be conscientious?' Thus did we return him to his mother, that her eye may be delighted, and she is not grieved, and that she would know that the promise of Allah is true, but most of them do not know." Ibn Abbas Mujahid and others said, "And the heart of Moses' mother became void," means it became void from everything concerning this world. She was so distressed that all she could think of was about Moses, and she almost disclosed his case. She was about to disclose to people about what she had done and start asking about Moses openly. And she said to his sister, that is her eldest daughter, follow him wherever he was going and bring me his news. So she watched him from a distance while they were not aware. Once Moses was taken inside Pharaoh's palace and they wanted to keep him, they looked for someone who could foster that child. However, he did not feed from any foster mother, neither did he eat any food from anyone. They became helpless, as Allah has said, and we had ordained that he would refuse to be suckled by any foster mother. They sent him with midwives and in the escort of other women to the market so that they might find someone who could feed him. While they were waiting there, Moses' sister spotted him, and without giving any hint that she was his sister, she said to them, shall I direct you to a family who will look after him for you and be conscientious? Ibn Abbas said, when she said that, they asked her, how did you know about their being conscientious to him? She said, I only wanted the happiness of the king and his benefit. So they released her and took her to her house. His mother took him and put him to her breast. He immediately started suckling. They felt overjoyed and sent a messenger to inform Asya. Asya immediately summoned her to the palace and offered her to stay in the palace, which she did not accept. She said that she had a husband and children, so she could not stay here to suckle the baby unless she sends him with her. Asya agreed to her proposal and appointed a grant for her. She gave all the expenses of the baby boy. So Moses' mother happily returned with her son to her home. Allah said, thus did we return him to his mother, that her eye may be delighted and she is not grieved, and that she would know that the promise of Allah is true, but most of them do not know. It was so great a divine favor upon Moses that Allah has mentioned it to Moses when he spoke to him on the Mount Tur. And indeed, we have conferred a favor on you another time when we inspired your mother. Cast him into the chest and cast the chest into the river. The river will throw him up upon the bank, and he will be taken by an enemy of mine and his. And I bestowed on you love from me, that you may be brought up under my eye. No one saw Moses except that he or she would come to love him. From that very moment, Qatada and other scholars said that Asya dressed him with the best clothes, fed him the best food, and provided the best of opportunity for play and entertainment. This was all from Allah, and that it meant by being brought up under my eye. When your sister walked forth and said, shall I direct you to one who will nurse him? So we returned you to your mother, so her eye may get delighted and she is not grieved. Then you did slay a man, so we rescued you from grief, and we tried you with a heavy trial. Allah said, and when he reached his full age and was firmly established, we bestowed on him wisdom and knowledge, and thus we reward those who do good. And he entered the city at a time when its people were at noon rest, and he found two people fighting there, one of them from his own people and the other from his enemy. The one from his own people pleaded for him to help against his enemy. So Moses struck him with his fist and killed him. He said, this is work of Satan. Surely he is a manifest, misleading enemy. He prayed, O my Lord, I have wronged myself, so please forgive me. So Allah forgave him. He is all-forgiving, the all-merciful. He said, my Lord, due to what you have bestowed upon me, I shall never be a help to those who sin. Before Allah the Almighty mentioned his favors upon Moses' mother, now he started the story of Moses when he reached his puberty and the life of wisdom and knowledge, which is, from the viewpoint of many scholars, the age of 40. The wisdom and knowledge points to the prophethood and being sent as a divine messenger, as indeed was his mother inspired. We shall return him to you, and we shall make him one of the messengers. Moses kills. Then Allah mentioned the reason why Moses had to leave Egypt and to go to Madian and stay there for a time. Also mentioned is how he received the revelation and when he would return from Madian after the completion of his agreement, as the details will follow. Allah said, he entered the city at a time when its people were at noon rest. Ibn Abbas, Qatada and others said that it was the time of afternoon when most people go for a siesta. However, in another opinion from Ibn Abbas, it was the time between sunset and Isha time. And he found two people fighting there, one of them from his own people, Israelites, and the other from his enemy, Coptic. The one from his own people pleaded for him to help against his enemy. Moses had a free access and power in Egypt because of his relation to Pharaoh. Israelites have also felt elevated and proud that they had fostered Moses. So they are his cousins in suckling. So when the Israeli pleaded Moses for help against the Coptic Egyptian, Moses came to him and struck him with his fist and so killed him. That Coptic Egyptian was a disbeliever. Nonetheless, Moses did not intend to kill him. He only wanted to restrain him and rebuke him. That is why Moses said, "This is a work of Satan. Surely he is a manifest, misleading enemy." He prayed, "O my Lord, I have wronged him myself, so please forgive me." So Allah forgave him. He is all forgiving, the most merciful. He said, "My Lord, due to what you have bestowed upon me, I shall never be a help to those who sin." Allah further says, so he became fearful and worried in the city, and the man who had pleaded for his help the day before sought his help again. Moses said to him, "Surely you are a belligerent." But when Moses was about to assault the man who was an enemy to them both, the man said, "O Moses, would you slay me today as you slew a living soul yesterday? You only wish to be a tyrant in the land, and you do not wish to be of those who seek righteousness." A man came running from the farthest part of the city, saying, "O Moses, the chiefs are conspiring to slay you, so depart this place. I am your sincere advisor." Allah the Most High informs us that Moses became frightened in Egypt from Pharaoh and his establishment, that he may come to discover that the Coptic was killed, and was killed by him while helping an Israelite. Now it will strengthen their doubt if they come to know about it, that Moses actually belonged to them. So Moses, when he came to the city on the next morning, was fearful and worried, turning his attention either sides in doubt while he was passing by. He saw the same Israeli fighting with another Coptic Egyptian and seeking his help against him. Moses rebuked the Israeli and reproached him from being involved in fighting again, and said, "Surely you are a belligerent." Then he wanted to hit the Coptic Egyptian, but the Israelite thought it was otherwise and said, "O Moses, would you slay me today as you slew a living soul yesterday? You only wish to be a tyrant in the land, and you do not wish to be one of those who seek righteousness." Then this disclosure was from the Israelite, who was well aware of yesterday's incident. When he saw Moses coming towards the Coptic Egyptian, he thought probably he was coming to hit him, since he had rebuked him, saying, "Surely you are a belligerent." Hence, when he said to Moses, "Would you slay me today as you slew a living soul yesterday?" the Coptic Egyptian came to know the secret and disclosed it to Pharaoh. It is also possible that this disclosure may have come from the Coptic Egyptian, and when he saw Moses coming to him, he was frightened and had a guess that he was probably the killer of yesterday's victim, or may have come to know from the Israelite he was fighting with. The news reached Pharaoh that it was Moses who killed yesterday's victim. So Pharaoh sent his police in his pursuit. However, a man sincere and friend to Moses brought the news of their decision before the police arrived. A man came running from the farthest part of the city saying, "O Moses, the chiefs are conspiring to slay you, so depart this place. Go out of this country. I am your sincere advisor." Moses goes to Midian. He departed from Egypt at once, not knowing where to go, in which direction, Allah says. So he departed from there in fear and with caution, saying, "My Lord, save me from these evildoers." And when he set off towards Midian, he said, "I hope that my Lord will guide me to the right path." And when he reached the wells of Midian, he found thereupon a group of men watering their flocks. And he found besides them 2 women trying to keep their flocks apart. So he said, "What is the matter with you?" The 2 women said, "We cannot draw water until the shepherds have gone away, and our father is a very old man." So he drew water for them. Then he went to sit in the shade and said, "My Lord, I am in need of any good that you may send to me." These verses tell us the story of Moses when he departed from Egypt in fear of pursuit, not knowing where he was heading, because he had never gone out of Egypt before. And when he set off towards Midian, he took the direction of the town of Midian and said, "I hope that my Lord will guide me to the right path. I hope this path may lead to a destination." So it happened. And when he reached the wells of Midian, from these wells the people of Midian took their water for themselves and for their flocks. Midian was the city where Allah destroyed the people of Thicket. They were the people of the Prophet Shu'aib. However, when Moses approached the wells, he found thereupon a group of men watering their flocks, and he found besides them 2 women trying to keep their flocks apart from the flocks of others, so they could not mix with them. The people of the book say there were 7 sisters who came to water their flocks. Bible, Exodus 2. This is wrong from our point of view. There may have been 7 sisters, but only 2 of them went to water their flocks. However, from the Quranic point of view, there were only 2 sisters. Moses inquired of them, "What is the matter with you?" The 2 women said, "We cannot draw water until the shepherds have gone away, and our father is a very old man. We could not water our flocks until the shepherds have gone away with their flocks. We are weak and we cannot get involved in any dispute. We have come to water them because our father is an old man who could not do it." So he drew water for them. The exegetes said, when the shepherds have watered their flocks, they would put a huge stone on the mouth of the well. Then those 2 women would come and water their flocks from the water left from the flocks of shepherds. However, that day Moses came and removed the stone and watered the flocks for them, and then put the stone back in its place. Caliph Umar said that it was so huge stone that it could not be lifted by 10 men. Then he went to sit in the shade and said, "My Lord, I am in need of any good that you may send to me." Ibn Abbas said, Moses went from Egypt to Midian, eating only plants and leaves. He was barefooted, and his stomach was stuck to his back as a result of hunger, and he desperately needed some decent food. Atta bin Saib said that when Moses said, "My Lord, I am in need of any good that you may send to me," he said it loudly so the women heard it. Moses gets refuge. Then one of the 2 women came to him, walking bashfully. She said, "My father invites you that he may reward you from drawing water for us." So when he came to him and related to him his story, he said, "Do not be afraid, you have escaped from the evildoers." One of the 2 women said, "O my father, hire him. Surely the best of those who can hire is the one who is strong and trustworthy." He said, "I intend to give you one of these 2 daughters of mine in marriage, provided you serve me for 8 years. However, If you complete 10 years, that will be grace from you. I do not want to place any hardship upon you. If Allah wills, you shall surely find me a righteous man. He said, be that the agreement between you and me. Whichever of the two terms I fulfill, there shall be no injustice to me, and Allah is witness to that we say. Then when the women came back home early, their father was surprised to see them early home. They related the incident to their father, who then asked one of them to go back and bring him home. Then one of the two women came to him walking bashfully. The woman bashfully came to Moses and delivered the message. She said, my father invites you that he may reward you for drawing water for us. Moses went with her to her home to meet her father. He told him about himself and related to him his story. When he finished, the old man told him to worry anymore because he was now away from their jurisdiction. And when he related to him his story, he said, do not be afraid, you have escaped from the evildoers. After Moses was entertained in honor, one of the daughters said to her father, O my father, hire him. She asked her father to hire Moses for looking after their flocks, and then she praised him as being strong and trustworthy. Umar and Ibn Abbas and many others said, when his daughter said that, he asked her, how do you know that? She said, he lifted a rock which not less than 10 people could lift. And when I led him home by being in front of him, he said, walk behind me. When you have to change the path, just throw a pebble on that path and I will know. He said, I intend to give you one of these two daughters of mine in marriage, provided you serve me for 8 years. However, if you complete 10 years, there will be grace from you. I do not want to place any hardship upon you. If Allah wills, you shall surely find me a righteous man. The Hanbali school of thought have inferred from this verse that one can employ one for food and clothing. They supported their opinion by a hadith which is narrated by Ibn Majah under the title, The Chapter of Employing One for Food. Ali bin Rabah said that he heard Utbah bin Nadar saying, we were sitting near the Prophet ﷺ. He recited Surah Tasin Mim, and after the story of Moses, he said, Moses has employed himself for 8 years or 10 years for his modesty and for feeding himself. Be that the agreement between you and me, whichever of the two terms I fulfill, there shall be no injustice to me, and Allah is witness to that we say. Moses told his father-in-law that there was an agreement between them. If he had fulfilled either of the terms, then no injustice would be done to him. And they made Allah the witness for their agreement. However, Moses fulfilled the term of 10 years. Imam Bukhari narrates from Sa'd bin Jubair saying, a Jew asked me, which of the terms Moses fulfilled? I said, I do not know till I come to the most knowledgeable person of Arab and asked him. So I came to Ibn Abbas and asked him about it. He said, he fulfilled the best of it and the longer of it. Moses and Mount Tur. When Moses had fulfilled the term and departed with his family, he perceived a fire on the side of Mount Tur. He said to his family, stay here, I see a fire. I hope I may bring you from there some information or bring you some burning fire from it, that you may warm yourselves. When he came to the fire, he was called from the right side of the valley from a tree in the blessed ground. O Moses, I am Allah, the Lord of the worlds, and throw down your staff. So when he saw it quivering like a snake, he ran away and did not come back. O Moses, come back and fear not, for you are quite secure. And put your hand into your bosom, and it will come out shining white without stain. and draw your hand close to your side to be free from fear. Those are the two proofs from your Lord to Pharaoh and his chiefs, for indeed they are a wicked people. After Moses has fulfilled the term of 10 years, he left with his family, heading back to Egypt. He was keen to see his family back in Egypt. It is said that this journey happened to be in a dark, cold night. They lost their way and could not see anything. While he was wandering about, he spotted a fire at a distance in the direction of Mount Tur. He then said to his family, "Stay here, I'll see a fire." It seems that he spotted the fire and it could not be seen by the rest of his family. That fire was actually a light, which could not be seen by everyone. Moses said, "I hope I may bring you from there some information for our direction, or to bring you some burning fire from it, that you may warm yourselves." This is an evidence that they had lost their way in a cold, dark night. It also is clear from another verse in Surah Taha. "And have you heard the story of Moses? When he perceived a fire, he said to his family, 'Wait here, I have seen a fire. Perhaps I shall bring you a burning brand from it, or I may find at the fire a guide.' Or as it said in Surah An-Naml, when Moses said to his family, 'I perceive a fire, I may bring you some information, or I may bring you a burning brand of fire that you may warm yourselves.' So Moses came to it and he got the information, and how great an information it was. He received the guidance, and how great the guidance it was." Allah said, when he came to the fire, he was called from the right side of the valley from a tree in the blessed ground. "O Moses, I am Allah, the Lord of the worlds." He has also described the event in Surah An-Naml. So when he came to it, he was called, "Blessed is he who is in the fire and the one who is around it, and glory be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. O Moses, I am Allah, the Almighty, the All-Wise." And Allah has said in Surah Taha, so when he came to it, he was called, "O Moses, indeed I am your Lord. Take off your shoes. You are in the sacred valley of Tu'a, and I have chosen you, so listen to what is revealed. Indeed, I am Allah, there is no God worthy of worship but I. Therefore, worship me, and establish prayer for my remembrance. Certainly the hour is coming. I have almost concealed it, so that every soul may be recompensed for its deeds. Therefore, let not him who disbelieves in it and follow his own lusts divert you from it, lest you perish. Many exegetes have said here that when Moses went towards the fire, he perceived it and came to it. He found it burning in a green thorny tree. It was getting so bright, and the tree was so green by every passing moment, that Moses stood calm and in astonishment. Moses was in a valley called Tu'a, and Moses was standing facing the Qibla. That tree was on his right side from the west direction. Then his Lord called him out in the valley. He first commanded him to take his shoes off to show his respect to that place. The people of the book say Moses hid his face from the brightness of that light. Bible, Exodus 3. Then Allah spoke to Moses, saying, "O Moses, I am Allah, the Lord of the worlds, and indeed I am Allah, there is no God worthy of worship but I. Therefore, worship me and establish prayer for my remembrance." This was the first message or revelation to Moses. I am the Lord of the worlds, besides whom there is no other God worthy of worship. He deserves all praise and all devotion and acts of worship, and that prayer should be established for him. Then Allah informed him that this world is not a world to stay in forever. The world to last is only the hereafter, which is inevitably going to happen, so that every soul may be recompensed for its deeds. If good, then good, and if evil, then evil. Allah commanded Moses to work for good and avoid those who disobey him and follow their lusts. Then Allah spoke to Moses, "And O Moses, what is this in your right hand?" Allah asked about his staff and its nature, which Moses held in his hand, since a long time, because Moses was quite sure that it was nothing but a wooden staff. Moses said, "This is my staff. I lean upon it, and I beat down leaves with it to feed my sheep, and in it I find other uses too." Moses said, "Yes, this is my staff, and I am quite familiar with it." And Allah said, "Throw it down, O Moses." So he threw it down, and it turned into a snake slithering. This was a magnificent miracle and an ultimate proof that the one who spoke from within the tree is the one who created things. The people of the book say Moses asked Allah for a proof which could verify his claim when he goes to Pharaoh. So Allah said, "What is that in your hand?" "A staff," he replied. He said, "Throw it on the ground." When Moses threw it down, it turned into a snake. Moses ran fast from there. The Lord commanded him to reach out his hand and to take it by its tail. When Moses took hold of the snake, it turned back into a staff in his hand. Bible, Exodus 4. Allah says in verse 28, "And cast down your staff." So when he saw it quivering like a snake, he ran away and did not come back. His staff turned into a huge, frightening snake with a big jaw, moving very fast. As Moses saw it, he ran away without looking back, but the Lord stopped him, saying, "O Moses, come back and fear not, for you are quite secure." When Moses turned back, Allah commanded him to hold it, saying, "Take it and do not fear, we shall restore it to its former state." It is said that Moses was so frightened that he hid his hands inside his sleeves. When he slipped them into his mouth, the Bible says he took hold of the snake. And when he did so, it turned into a staff with 2 branches. Then Allah commanded him to put his hand in his bosom, then asked him to take it out, and when he did so, it was white without any stain on it, neither of the kind of leprosy. That is why he said, "And put your hand into your bosom, and it will come out shining white without stain. And draw your hand close to your side to be free from fear." It is said that it means that if you fear, just put your hand on your heart and you will be relieved of your fear. Even though this is peculiar to Moses, nonetheless, the blessings of being a true believer may make it possible for one who uses it to benefit from it, since it is a manner of the following of the prophets. Allah said in Surah An-Naml, "And place your hand in your bosom, it will come out shining, white without any stains, among 9 signs to Pharaoh and his people. Indeed, they are a wicked people." So these 2 signs are from among 9 signs which Moses was given. As Allah said, "Those are the 2 proofs from your Lord to Pharaoh and his chiefs, for indeed they are a wicked people." The staff and the white hand, beside 7 others, which make it 9 signs altogether, as it is indicated in Surah Al-Isra. And we gave Moses 9 clear signs. So asked the children of Israel when Moses came to them, and Pharaoh said to him, "Moses, I think that you are enchanted." He said, "Indeed, you know that none sent these down except the Lord of the heavens and the earth, as clear proof, and I deem you, Pharaoh, to be destroyed." All these 9 signs are mentioned in detail in Surah Al-Araf. "And certainly we seized Pharaoh's people with years of scarcity and diminution of fruit, that they might be mindful. So when good came to them, they said, 'This is our due.' But if evil afflicted them, they would ascribe it to Moses and those with him, whereas their misfortune was with Allah, but most of them do not know. And they said, 'Whatever signs you may bring to us, enchant us we will not believe in you. So we let loose upon them the flood, and the locusts, the lice, and the frogs, and the blood, clear signs, but they were arrogant, and they were a sinful people. These 9 signs are different from his 10 commandments. Some people have mixed them together and thought of them as the same. However, when Allah commanded Moses to go to Pharaoh, he said, "My Lord, I have killed one of them, and I fear that they will slay me, and my brother Aaron is more eloquent in speech than I, so send him with me, so he may support me. Surely I fear they will reject me." He said, "We will certainly strengthen your arm with your brother, and we shall give you both such an authority that they will not be able to harm you. So by our signs, you and whoever follows you shall be the victors." When Allah disclosed to Moses the mission he was about to take up as messenger, he spelled out his fear and reminded him of what he had done in the past. He said that he had killed a Coptic Egyptian before, and they might take revenge for him, and so they may kill him. "My Lord, I have killed one of them, and I fear that they will slay me, and my brother Aaron is more eloquent in speech than me. So send him with me, so he may support me. Surely I fear they will reject me." Moses asked Allah for his brother Aaron to be appointed his deputy and helper, so he may convey the message in a better way, because his brother was more eloquent than him in speech. Allah answered his request, saying, "We will certainly strengthen your arm with your brother, and we shall give you both such an authority that they will not be able to harm you. So by our signs, you and whoever follows you shall be the victors." And in Surah Taha it said, "Go to Pharaoh, for he is an insolent tyrant." He said, "O my Lord, expand my chest and make my task easier for me, and remove the impediment from my speech, so they may understand what I say." Hassan Basri said, "The messengers only ask according to their need, and that is why some impediment remained in the tongue of Moses. That is why when Moses went to Pharaoh, he denounced him as being unclear, and so he said, 'And who can scarcely express himself clearly? And give me a helper from my family, Aaron my brother. Add to my strength through him, and make him share my task, so that we may glorify you without ceasing and remember you frequently. Surely you are all-seeing of us." Allah said, "You are granted your request, O Moses. We have responded to all your requests and gave you everything you asked for." This shows the rank of Moses before Allah, that when he asked Allah to send revelation to his brother Aaron, he accepted to do so. Allah said, "And he was honorable before Allah." As he also said, "And out of our mercy we gave him his brother Aaron as a prophet."